we've heard you so much before, and you've done a very extensive interview with our editor, and so we are familiar with Dr. Zakir Naik. So
I'm also familiar with Indian Express, that amongst various press that is there, the one who have not quoted me out of context, one of the few press is Indian Express.
But suddenly, controversy is not new to you. Controversy has been with you for a long time, but somehow suddenly this latest controversy has become international. In the sense, you have UK government and a Canadian government taking your comments and excluding you from visiting the UK. How does, I would say, you would see yourself as a messenger of peace.
That's right.
And you're a tele-evangelist and you're interpreting or reinterpreting Islam. How does someone like you get into a controversy like this?
As you may be aware, being in the media, that people who get popular, who people have a mass following, surely there are people who may be against them also. And the best example I can give you is of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Not only amongst the Muslims, even amongst the non-Muslims. If you have read the book of Michael H. Hart, the 100 most influential person in history, he rated that the most influential person in the world is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Though he was a Christian, and he placed Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, number 3. But yet, even though he's the most influential and most famous, if you realize the maximum books or articles that have been written against any human being in the world, it is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So the person, when he gets famous, there's bound to be people who do not agree with his views. So similarly, because of the popularity that amongst the Muslim orators and speakers in the past few years or more than a decade, the way I reply, who being an Indian, the way I reply to the various misconceptions and allegations against Islam with reason, logic and science. To answer a question is easy, but to answer convincingly is difficult. So because I have a scientific background, being a medical doctor, I give the reply with reason, logic and science, and I give reply quoting other scriptures. I believe coming in commonalities rather than talking about differences. So based on this, amongst my audience, as you may be aware that most of the talks I give outside India attract tens of thousands of people. In India, it attracts hundreds of thousands of people. And the viewership on the channel is more than 100 million. Counting the other channels besides Peace TV, more than 150 million viewers. So because of this, the way I reply, there are many non-Muslims who hear me. And amongst the audience that I address in India and outside India, more than 25% are non-Muslim. Even the viewership of Peace TV, more than 25% non-Muslim. So maybe they may not be liking that I'm replying to the queries against Islam with reason, logic and science and convincing a large number of non-Muslims towards the peaceful message of Islam.
You're not modest. You give the metaphor of the Holy Prophet.
Nowhere do I ever claim that I'm anywhere close to him. Exactly. Not even 0.0001%. Given the example.
No, but yeah, it's good to know what you feel about your own standing and your popularity, because I think somebody who's an evangelist is also portraying a particular personality and trying to influence a large number of people. But on one side there is a perception that you're a modern liberalist when it comes to Islam. And interpreting Islam, or that is at least how we have seen and heard you say these things. And on the other hand, there are these kind of issues which have been brought up in the Sunday Times report and in other reports in the West
of UK,
which says that you're a very ultra-orthodox radical Muslim. How does this contradiction explain? Because is it because you're too liberal, or is it because you're too unorthodox? There's too much of contradiction there.
That's right. I do not consider myself to be too liberal, neither do I consider myself too orthodox. I consider myself to be a truthful person and interpret in the right way. Neither being too liberal, neither being too strict. I believe calling a spade a spade. But the way the West has projected me is misquoting me. And any logical person, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, if he sees all the quotations along with references, it will be a difference of chalk and cheese. And to give an example, we have had the best team of lawyers in UK to present a case, as you may be aware. And my lawyer, to test the waters, he gave to a white Britisher, absolutely white, non-Muslim Christian. He presented him the report of Sunday Times and said, hate monger, preacher of hate, allowed into Britain. And when that white Britisher read the report, my lawyer asked him that, what do you think about it? Oh, he should be banned. No way should be allowed, and whatever the UK government is perfectly right. Then he showed my clipping, which is there on the YouTube, replying to the allegation in context. The moment he heard that, he said, this is unbelievable. How can the UK government quote this man out of context? He's a man talking sense. It's unbelievable. So this is the layman. So what happens that in the media, you know, you being a man of media, and even I know very well, it is the choice of the person who's the host and the producer of a TV interview or the person doing interview, the way he wants to present me. I'll give you an example. I was on one of the very famous news channels on a talk show, and I gave some statements. They present half my statements.
In India or outside?
In India, even abroad. I don't name. They present half my statements, and the balance of me condemning terrorism is not presented. So it shows as though I'm promoting terrorism. Same way. So what's done in India, done outside. And it is very easy. Same way, for example, if, for example, DRZAKIR NAIK, she has banned me saying that I exclude Zakir from coming into UK because he says that every Muslim should be a terrorist. Now, if I take out everything and show DRZAKIR NAIK saying that every Muslim should be a terrorist, the same way what they're doing to me, will the UK government ban her? If I show her clipping on the channel, she's quoting me. In context, she wants to ban me because I said a statement. Now, if I use a statement and show on the media, in the YouTube clip, DRZAKIR NAIK saying, every Muslim should be a terrorist, that's it. Only showing that statement. Will the UK government ban her? Will the Canadian government ban her? Will the American government ban her? So why these double standards? Why these double standards for a person who is the Home Secretary and a person who is the person who promotes peace? Unless the reader or the viewer knows how the media operates. And I being in that field, therefore when anyone is accused, I do not accuse him, I said I don't know, and that's what Mahesh Bhatt said yesterday at the press conference. If you don't know, it's better to say I don't know than say I know. And that's what I use, because I have more than 100 million people following me. So for me to malign anyone unless I have solid proof, to criticize, to praise anyone is easy. But to criticize anyone unless I have solid proof. And the Quran says that whenever you get an information, Surah Hujurat chapter 49, verse number 6, check it up before you pass it on to the next person.
I will try and play the devil's advocate here and try and see it from their perspective, and it's a good debate because this particular one statement which you showed in the press conference about Osama bin Laden, and you said it was from 1996 and then they've used it in 2006. That you said if he's fighting America, the terrorist, then he's probably doing a good job. You don't know Osama what he has done. But you never denied that comment. You said it was made in 96 and they've wrongly used it in 2006. But the fact that you said something like that in 96 still doesn't change for the West. I'm saying, for the West, Osama is evil. And you did not deny those comments. You only said you probably made them in 96. So for perception's sake, they still perceive Dr. Zakir Naik as somebody who doesn't condemn Osama. And that has got you into trouble with these latest reports in Sunday Times also. So, I mean, what do you have to say about that?
Point number one, I did say yesterday in the press conference that I've been to Singapore twice and once in 1996. But after verifying yesterday night, as I said, I've been twice for a lecture tour, otherwise many times. I was there on lecture tour to Singapore twice, 1996 and 1998. When I checked up yesterday evening, it was the talk of 1998.
Okay.
But it changed in just 2 years, yet it was 3 years before the 9/11. So yet my answer remains the same. But regarding your question that I did not deny, I did not condemn Osama bin Laden. Again, what I say, I condemn the evil act. And I've done that hundreds of times. I condemn the act of 9/11. Same thing what was showed, just to mention on the NDTV, on the same talk show. I'm just revealing to be more specific. When Barkhadat asked me that what are your views about Osama bin Laden, I said the same thing. I don't know him. Neither do I call him a saint, neither do I call him a terrorist. Because I get different views. Now, I being a man of the media, if I see BBC and CNN, I have to 100% agree that Osama bin Laden is a terrorist. At the same time, when I read a press report that came on the 7th of August 2006 in the Times of India, the heading of that article was 75 professors. They say that 9/11 was an inside job. And then the article said 75 professors and scientists, according to them, it is few warmongers in the White House who have done 9/11 so that they could invade and control the oil-rich countries. Who's saying that? 75 professors and scientists. There are many DVDs, which you may have also seen some of them, Loose Change, 9/11, which give scientific proofs that how it could not be done by an aeroplane attacking. They say it was bombardment. But yet, what I say, I don't know which is true. But on the face of it, being a medical doctor, being a man of science, the proofs given by the scientists and professors, and the proofs given in the documentaries like loose change, they are far more appealing and logical than the proofs given by BBC and CNN. But yet I say, I don't know. So yet what I say, I don't know who did that. But in the same breath I say, whoever did it, whether Osama bin Laden, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, whoever did it, and in which a few thousand people were killed, has to be condemned. Same breath I say that whoever killed more than 50 innocent people in London, in the London bomb blast, in 7/7 has to be condemned. In the same breath I say, also condemned the thousands of innocent people killed in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Lebanon. For this, Theresa May took objection. She's saying, we object on your statement that how do you condemn the innocent people being killed in Iraq, Afghanistan and Lebanon. I said, this is whether in context or out of context. How can the UK government tell me that when I'm condemning the death of innocent people in Afghanistan, not general people in Afghanistan, my words were very clear. I condemn thousands of innocent people killed in Afghanistan, Iraq and Lebanon. And the article she picked up is from the Evening Manchester. And see, again, this is the article.
I have a copy.
Fine? Which we gave yesterday. But before that paragraph, it clearly mentions that however Dr. Zakir Naik, described by organizers as the most sought after Muslim preacher in the world, criticized the action of New York, London and Bombay bombers. And then continues, how can you ever justify killing innocent people? He said, but in the same breath as condemning those responsible, we must also condemn those responsible for the deaths of thousands of innocent people in Iraq, Afghanistan and Lebanon. They quote my second paragraph of the article. So what I'm trying to say that isn't the double standards?
Just like there is some intellectual contradiction there. I mean, I'm going back to the whole Osama bin Laden question. I mean, you're a man of books. You've read and more, books than any of us probably put together. And there is a lot of literature about Osama. It's just not BBC or CNN or a Western media report. There are, media reports from South Asia. There are media reports from the Middle East. There's a lot of research done about him. You say you condemn the evil act, but the man responsible for the evil...
Neither saint
nor
neither
terrorist.
Very clear.
No, but Dr. Naik, there is evidence for proving that whatever the organization he heads is supposed to be responsible. I mean, you talked about the scientists and 75% of the people saying that, it could be an inside job, it could be a White House job and all of that. But there is also much more larger body of work which proves the other side. So is it something convenient to believe this and not wanting to believe that?
See, again, if you are the journalist, you have seen everything and you are convinced with the proof contrary against bin Laden, I will not say that what you have said is wrong. You have a right to your opinion. But I have a right to my opinion. For example, I will tell you that the treatment for so-and-so disease is so-and-so medicine. I'm asking, is it right, is it wrong?
No, you're a doctor, you should know.
So you will say that I don't know.
Yeah, you're the doctor.
Now, I'm not a person who's a news reporter, but I'm a man who people follow. Therefore, what Mahesh Bhatt said yesterday, better to say I don't know than to say I know everything. So now you are saying you know, you have a right. But what I have seen evidence, I feel the other is more logical, more scientific. And I've read, even I have read volumes. But yet, even after believing that it's more logical, more scientific, I say I don't know.
You're not convinced?
Not myself, 75 American scientists.
No, you're not convinced. Well, let's forget the scientists for the moment. You're not convinced.
I agree with their view more. Well, I have not done a personal survey. I haven't gone and interviewed him. And neither do I think, why should I waste my time? Why should I waste my time going and doing research on every Tom, Dick and Harry? Because Osama bin Laden doesn't present Islam for me.
Yeah.
If they say something about the Prophet, I'll do research. So Osama bin Laden is not the person who's presenting Islam for me. Whether he's right or wrong, it will not make a difference to Islam at all. But for me to condemn a person unless I do proper research, I'm not claiming that I've read more books about Osama bin Laden than you. Please, sir. Yes, in religion, if you say I've read more books than you, possible. But regarding Osama bin Laden, I never claim I've done a proper research. But whatever I have got, and neither do I want to waste my time. The point to be noted is, I do condemn. So if suppose for example, there are some followers of Osama bin Laden, hypothetically, and suppose he has done it, they get the message very clearly. I am condemning them. So if Osama bin Laden has not done it, he'll say, this man, I like him. He's standing for the truth. If he has done it, oh, this man actually is against me. So it's very clear cut. I'm talking about the media. And you know the case in Bombay of India. The Bombay Anti-Terrorist Department recently said that more than 90% of the cases that we arrest, they are found to be innocent. They said that after the trial. So therefore, more than 90%, the records are much more. So if anyone is arrested, even after the proof is given, how can we condemn? I asked a simple question, and I said that even in the press conference day before yesterday, that hypothetically, suppose the UK government arrests Bin Laden, and a trial is going to take place after a few days, after a few weeks, and there is a High Court judge who is going to head the trial. And if the Home Secretary of UK, Theresa May, asks that judge before the trial takes place, dear Mr. Judge, what is your view regarding Osama bin Laden? Do you think he is a terrorist or saint? I am asking you, what will be his reply? I am asking, what will his reply be?
Their replies are very obvious.
No, what will the judge say before the trial takes place? What will he say?
The judge is already influenced by all the information.
But what will the judge say before the trial is taking place? Even if he is influenced, what reply will he give?
He will say the court has to prove the case.
Very good. He will not say, okay, fine, I've seen the BBC report, I've seen the CNN report, don't have a trial, put him to gallows. Will he say that? No. He being a man in a position, even if he is 100% convinced, he will say, I cannot say something unless I see evidence, and there's a cross-examination. This is the democracy. Now, I haven't interviewed him. I have not done research about him. Why are you forcing me to waste my time on doing research on someone who doesn't make a difference to Islam? I am here to promote Islam. I am not here to defend anyone who's been criticized. So what I have to say, that I am behaving at the same position as the judge of a High Court. That fine, tomorrow if he is arrested, and if there's enough evidence against him, and there is a court which convicts him, then I can say, okay, according to the court, there was a trial taking place, he had a right to defend, and he's responsible. Now, same thing if you say about Saddam Hussein. Not that I'm saying Saddam Hussein is a good man, so don't again go and say I'm supporting Saddam Hussein. But whatever allegation made by USA against Iraq that they had weapons of mass destruction, it was proved to be false. But what happened? What happened? The UN did not give sanction for them to attack. The USA can hang for UN. Now, when I'm speaking openly, the US government is against me. And do you know there is a recent law, was just passed recently, I don't know whether you're aware of it or not, I was just told by my lawyers, that a recent law was passed in USA that if the government calls anyone a terrorist, and if he is booked for terrorist acts, or the government blames him, no lawyer can defend that person. Neither the lawyer can guide him how to have a peaceful relationship with the government. I was shocked. I could not believe. So therefore he said that UK is far better now. If this is freedom of expression, if this is freedom, then what Mahesh Bhatt said day for yesterday, that they can call anyone a terrorist at the drop of a hat, whoever they want. And that's get labeled. So what we have to, I think, live out of it. Fine. And I'm not telling you, if you are a person who has read thousands of books on Osama bin Laden, and are convinced, you have a right to your statement.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm just, so I'm open with that. I'm not telling that you have to agree with me. But you cannot make me agree with your statement on which I have not done research. Now today if I give you the name of a medicine, you say that this is not my field. If I get sick, I'll go to a doctor. So why should I do it? This is the latest research, now this medicine is used for this disease. You will say, why, that is not my job. So neither is my job to go and defend everyone that has been condemned. Neither do I want to do research. Not waste my time on it.
There are 2 points here, Dr. Naik. Sure. I mean, one is...
Hope I've clarified my stance.
It's a debate which can go on, but it's there are 2 points here. One is about religion, and the other is about politics. And the line between the two has got so blurred, especially all religions, but particularly Islam. And when you say Osama bin Laden doesn't matter for Islam, at the same time, for a large part of the world, he's become identified with the religion. He may not be a religious man. He may not be a religious man. They call him the Sheikh. He may be a wealthy, billionaire from Saudi Arabia, whatever he is. But he and his religion have become identified with his politics.
Why? Why only he? Why not Hitler?
Also, yes.
Hitler. No one said Hitler is a Christian and Christianity said
Hitler's politics.
What about LTT? What about LTT? What about Ulfa? No one says Ulfa is a Hindu organization which is there to
But
kill the
whichever
Muslims.
organization which uses religion to propagate its politics gets identified by its
So then
religion.
Ulfa uses religion.
I don't think so.
What is the agenda? See, again,
That's ethnic.
so-
That's an ethnic.
IRA. What is IRA?
IRA is very Catholic.
Do they say Catholic terrorist organization?
No, they
Do this? Why not? IRA is a more danger to UK than any other Muslim in the world, according to me. They have killed hundreds of people. Evident. It is a fight between the Catholics and the Protestants. But why doesn't the media say that IRA is a Christian terrorist organization? Why don't they say IRA is a Catholic terrorist? Why? So why these double standards? That
Double
is the
standards
only
have-
thing. So for me, Osama bin Laden is not at all representing Islam. He may be good, he may be bad. And neither am I telling any Muslim, look at me, I am representing Islam. No, I never say that. I never claim myself also to be the apt representation of Islam. The apt representation of Islam is our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Neither do I claim that. Neither do I claim that, I'm the best, look at me. I say, don't look at the Muslims for understanding Islam. Look at the Quran, analyze the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet. Like I say that if the latest car in the market, that's a Mercedes 600, maybe yes, and a person does not know drive the car, he sits behind the steering wheel and he bangs up the car. Who will blame, the car or the driver?
Obviously, the driver.
If you want to really test the car, look at the specification. What is the speed? What is the safety measure? What is the braking system? What is the average? What is the top speed? So if you have to understand Islam, read the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet. If you really want to test drive the car, put behind the steering wheel a driver who is an expert. And the best exemplary Muslim, if you want to find, is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is not even Zakir Naik. Please don't get me wrong. I don't say look at me. I am not a best example at all. I may be following Islam better than some of the Muslims. I may not be following as good as the other Muslims living today. I am what Almighty God has given me the capacity to answer the allegations against Islam. So that's the reason if you know my background, I was a stammerer. I used to stammer. In school, the teachers used to give me just pass because I used to stammer. When I realized that when I started speaking regarding truth, my stammering vanished. So that is the reason they know that why have they targeted me is because they know very well that, as was mentioned, even quoted by Manchester Evening News, that the most sought after public speaker in the Muslim world is ZAKIR NAIK. They think that. And even the UK government knows very well, they have all my tapes, and 100% the intelligence of UK, of Canada, of USA, they have all my views very well. Not that they don't have. And I cannot say that they have done it unknowingly. So what is the agenda behind this exclusion order? Irrespective of what the agenda is, we are going to fight for justice, and we believe not doing the same thing what our enemies are doing. What we have done yesterday, my lawyers gave them a notice. That we gave a notice to Theresa May, Home Secretary of UK, that we give you 24 hours to reverse your decision. This is all your thing was illogical, and we gave them proofs. Maybe you made the decision in a hurry. We give you 24 hours to reverse the decision and allow Dr. Zakir Naik or face us in the court.
Thank you so much for your time. It was a very intense, and I enjoyed talking to you. I hope you enjoyed talking to us.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.